Would it be fun to have a cult? Would having a cult be fun? I've been watching a lot of Nick Fuentes. To study on my my memes. No. Gino. Candlelight vigil. It depends what kind of cult we're talking about. There's different kind of cults. Nice, dude. Okay. I need to start making actual content for stuff.
Host of Timcast, Tim Pool, joins me now. Tim, we're awaiting Erica Kirk's host of Timcast, Tim Pool joins me now. Tim, we're awaiting Erica Kirk's remarks, which should be incredibly emotional and extremely powerful.
Tim Pool has been calling for civil war in America for like 10 years now. He's begging for violence. He makes money off it. He was paid by Russia for a while, unironically, for some media production. And he keeps on saying no off-ramp in his posts. Tim Pool wants to cause violence in America. He's going to say they killed, they killed Charlie Kirk. The Democrats killed Charlie Kirk.
In the meantime, tell us what you know about this shooter.
Well, I know much of what you have reported, what everyone's reporting, the statements that were made to The Guardian that he was a leftist.
These are a bunch of them. You know, he's been saying civil war for a long time now. Right-wingers want this to happen. They want some, if not violence, they want fear and violence, some violence and fear to follow it as well, so that they can hold the political process and scare dissidents, to scare their opposition party. And right now, Trump is calling for a complete crackdown on all liberals in America. Yeah, it's really fun. The White House has been calling liberals extremists and terrorists for weeks and months now, but no one knows that in America because Democrats have shitty leadership like Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer, and no advocacy whatsoever. So that's freaking awesome. It's awesome. And by the way, the earlier reporting about this kid being a leftist was off. It was retracted by The Guardian. Now, he could definitely have some views that are sympathetic to that side, but things are complicated. When there's a shooter, their views are often directionless. They're usually radicalized by online internet communities. It can be a combination of far left and far right, anti-establishment. It can be pro or anti-Israel. It can be pro or anti-Palestine. It can be pro big money, anti-big money. It could be so many different things. It could be this this really interesting collection of beliefs in these people that do these mass shootings and terrorist attacks. So saying it's a left or right thing is crazy. There's two sides right now. One side disavows all political violence. You're against all political violence. The other side is okay with political violence. You're against all political violence or no political violence. There's no in between.
Someone has posted a video claiming to have gone to school with him, and they called him your typical Redditor. And anybody who's familiar with the social platform Reddit knows it is dominated by liberal left ideology. But what's interesting now is there is this gaslighting campaign among prominent liberals to claim that this guy's actually a right-winger. That he's from a Christian conservative family who loved guns.
Okay, that's true. Those are both true. And I said before, if someone grows up in a Christian conservative family, I think his dad was wearing a 3%er shirt. A 3%er is like they're saying they are for an armed rebellion against the government if they try to take their gun rights, essentially. So pretty militia friendly. If you start off right wing in America, you're taught that guns are the source of your freedom. You could have different opinions on that. They're the source of your freedom, and they are the tool of freedom. So I would probably say that someone who's taught that violence is the way you advocate for things your entire life, even if you switch ideologies at some point when you get older, it probably makes you more inclined to take matters into your own hands, quote unquote, and be radicalized like this terrorist was, doing this disgusting act of murdering Charlie Kirk, which is terrible. But anyone trying to get political party points at this point is crazy.
And in fact, he attacked Charlie for not being conservative enough. And they've tried making similar claims pertaining to the man who tried to kill Donald Trump, Crooks, in Pennsylvania. But it is absolutely...
Crooks also came from a white family. He was very pro-gun his entire life. He had some weird internet followings. He was like he was all over the place. He followed people on the left and on the right. Luigi Mangione, the same thing. They're like centrist. They don't have a belief. They don't care about Democrats or Republicans. They're anti-establishment. It's not Democrat or Republican. They don't believe in politics. They don't believe in left or right. They are nihilists. It's nihilistic terrorism. These people don't have that much ideological pinning. The Unabomber was not that simple. The Unabomber hated everyone, Democrats and Republicans. These people they go crazy. Sometimes it's a crazy radicalized person. We have 350 million people in America. We have a gun wherever you want it. This kid who did, and by the way, the liberals making this entire conversation about gun violence, it's challenging. Because like January 6th was not gun violence necessarily. That was not gun violence, but that's the core of what we're talking about with political violence. The gun this kid used, supposedly in this crime, the bolt action hunting rifle. There's no gun legislation that would have blocked that gun from being in his hands, or blocked someone like him from getting a hunting rifle, bolt action. Like that is a tool you can use for this event. You cannot do a mass shooting as easy with like a bolt action rifle. But the gun control argument that Democrats want to go to, maybe it works politically, but like the gun violence is not the core issue here. It's not even top 5 or top 10. Like the political violence and the refusal for Republicans to walk back their calls for civil war is probably the biggest thing right now.
Absolutely absurd. I've been dealing with this since the beginning of my career. I have dealt with physical assault attacks from the left, from violent extreme leftists. We called them the Black Bloc back during Occupy Wall Street. This was covered extensively when I was actually championed by the left for documenting Occupy Wall Street, and I was physically attacked by leftists. Even to this day, the death threats that we receive, the security that I have to have every day it's tremendous. And I don't see the same thing among my liberal counterparts. They don't require the same degree of security. So it's a gaslighting campaign, in my opinion, because in order to maintain the lie that the right is more violent.
Governor Shapiro in Pennsylvania almost died from arson from a Trump supporter. We had 2 Democrats assassinated in Minnesota. The security for Democrats in general has skyrocketed. There were arguments in the House about funding security for members of our Congress because of these attacks on liberals. And there's political violence all across the board going up. But again, Democrats condemn all of it. Republicans only condemn some. They're pro some political violence. And if you're pro some, you're pro all political violence. You have to be anti or for it. And I'm anti. I am against political violence.
They do several things. They try to gaslight us in situations like this, that a conservative would shoot Charlie Kirk. He was the greatest tool in the arsenal of conservative values. And they go online, they use these NGOs, these nonprofits, to claim that a run-of-the-mill moderate conservative is the same thing as a white supremacist who wants to overthrow the government. They're so far removed from each other. That's the game they're playing now because they don't want to take responsibility for
They don't believe there are any white supremacists that want to overthrow the government. When they asked Trump about the Proud Boys in 2020, what did he say? He did not say no Proud Boys. He did not say no white supremacists. He said, stand back and stand by. And all over Telegram, they were cheering, oh, Trump gave us marching orders. He's ready for us to help him win this election. And the Proud Boys were the first people in the Capitol on January 6th. Ooh.
Rhetoric. The rhetoric they say every day when they accuse us of being Nazis or fascists or far right.
Trump called Kamala a communist, fascist, Marxist, socialist, by the way.
They say this so that, as you've already pointed out, when the violence happens, no one likes a Nazi, right? But let me add this. I think the reality now that I've unfortunately had to deal with, that we are all seeing, is that this man who shot Charlie was much closer to mainstream Democrat than any of us wanted to believe.
We know nothing about this person, by the way, and I guarantee you they're not close to mainstream Democrat. If they're making memes like the Bella Chow meme, if they're making memes like the Bulge meme and the meme about like, if you read this, you're gay, they are radicalized by online internet chat rooms. Okay, that's not in the realm of any modern day political normalcy whatsoever. And these attacks are crazy that Tim Pool's making. There's a much better argument that the Vance Bolter guy that killed these Democrats in Minnesota, that he's closer to MAGA beliefs. He had a list of pro-choice politicians in America. And if you truly believe the left is mutilating children and killing babies, then it justifies what Vance Bolter did, which is the scary rhetoric of the right. By the way, this is the scary rhetoric on the left that they're talking about. This person, they're trying to get him canceled right now. He's a transportation planner at the District Department of Transportation. So he had a list here, okay? Now this right here had quotes from Charlie Kirk. These are quotes from Charlie Kirk that Charlie Kirk said. There's nothing inflammatory. There's no added commentary. There's no calls for violence. There's no approval for violence, all right? They give a phone number of his employer, okay? They say he celebrated Charlie Kirk's death, all right? They give his name, try to dox him, essentially, call for his harassment. And again, these are quotes. These are quotes that Charlie Kirk said. These are quotes.
Fuck you. That's not very Christian.
They're saying F you. He's saying that's not very Christian.
So a guy just got murdered, and you're going to stand out here and protest a vigil?
He's standing outside with his quotes. With his quotes. With Charlie Kirk's quotes. There's nothing bad or crazy about his quotes. You should be proud of Charlie Kirk's words if you like Charlie Kirk. Okay? And this kind of protest, by the way, the right wing always says, oh, the blacks like to loot and shoot or whatever, right? They don't give a shit. Colin Kaepernick, they wanted him out of there. They were going to boycott the NFL. They were setting their jerseys on fire. This guy right here, standing outside, quiet, with quotes Charlie Kirk actually said. He, apparently, in their mind, is calling for violence. They give his name, try to dox him, again, give a phone number for his employer, want to cancel him for sharing Charlie Kirk's own words.
For him?
It's not a protest. I'm informing Catholics on his...
Doesn't matter.
And this guy is a part of a Christian organization, by the way.
Somebody just got murdered. Do you know?
Somebody just got murdered. Yeah, it's a terrible thing, but you don't got to be offended by everything. You shouldn't be offended by Charlie Kirk's words. Like, do they think this looks good for conservatism? Like,
Understand time and place?
do you understand time and place? Yeah, you're offended. So are all the liberals when you say George Floyd deserved to die. So are the Democrats in Minnesota when you laughed at their deaths, when you lie about their killer. So are so are black people down south when we have a neo-Nazi shoot up churches in Charleston and Charlottesville. People are offended by you supporting actual neo-Nazis, some of them which are marching for Charlie Kirk right now. Yeah, you were happy to offend the left. The left did not call all of your employers. There was never a push by the J.D. Vance today said call their employers. J.D. Vance said it, the vice president. Fox News called to call their employers. The cancel culture on the left was random people calling employers. I did not endorse that. Okay, I did not endorse it. Right now, this is the most institutional. The vice president and Fox News, the biggest propaganda network on the planet right now, is calling for people to call employers because they're offended over words. And attack. They want to attack the First Amendment. It was never this crazy on the left whatsoever. And now they want to kill all liberal organizations. They called liberals and Democrats extremist terrorists. The White House said this. And they want to say the left has the inflammatory language. Please drop a like, repost my video, and follow my page, guys. Thank you for watching.
That logic just escapes you? You've got nothing better to do than come out here and do something like that. You deserve the spit on the ground you just got.
You deserve the spit on the... Bro, talk about Karen, bro. Talk about Karen. That guy's chilling with Charlie Kirk's quotes. He's a Christian, a liberal Christian. He's protesting the way people say they want you to protest. And this... okay. That's crazy shit. I'm just saying. It's crazy.
I woke up to posts on Instagram from people that I thought were my friends that I have known for years. And mind you, they're liberal. But I always considered them to be moderate liberals, not particularly active. And they're posting messages saying Charlie deserved it.
Calling employers, he's not a politician. Someone in chat said, thank you for $2. But like, the vice president is calling to have people call employers.
Got the world he wanted.
Of people that they're offended by.
They know who I am, and they know that he was my friend. And I don't understand how these relationships can be repaired. Even friends of mine who are not political, who are telling me I'm sorry, this happened, they're saying on their Facebooks, there are people posting celebrating this that they didn't even realize were political, and I don't know how we recover from that.
So how did that...
I don't know how we recover from that. That is such a small segment of the population. The people doing that don't even vote Democrat, by the way. They don't even vote Democrat. And they're calling everything celebration of death. You can say, political violence is never acceptable. You can say what happened here is a tragedy. I say it's a crime against humanity. They don't care. They want to be offended. They want to be mad. They want to call for violence and war. They don't care how much you condemn it. You need to keep condemning it. Keep on condemning it. But make sure they realize, as many people as possible realize, that when Elon Musk shares a tweet that has 0 likes and 0 followers and 0 reposts and 0 comments, and he says, this is the entire left, that small anonymous account can be from China. That anonymous account can be from Russia. That anonymous account can be from India. Okay, it could be an AI bot, and they're using anonymous accounts mostly, and random college kids to drive social conflict and civil conflict in America. Your radical wing has taken over your party. The president will not call for an end to political violence. He is pro-political violence. The president, the richest man in the world, Elon Musk, is pro-political violence. Fox News is currently pro-political violence. And your example, when I name all those huge players, is to bring up a random college kid or a random person on Twitter.
That culture begin? You're familiar with the internet. You're familiar with Antifa. You understand the militancy that you see and you encounter when you go into these precincts. This kid, raised with good parents, it seems like, lives a normal life in Utah. How did he snap like that?
It's really hard to know, but I've talked about it quite a bit in my research. I'll try and keep it as succinct as I can. The algorithms of social media starting in the late 2000s, in LexisNexis data, you can see the words like racism, white supremacy, fascism skyrocket in their usage in mainstream newspapers and online publications.
You can't criticize people's beliefs. You can't criticize people. I mean, the right, again, they say the left mutilates kids, sterilizes kids. They say the trans people are predators and pedophiles. When the president is an actual defender, at least, defender of pedophiles, he's defending them. I'm not saying he is one, but he defends them. Ghislaine Maxwell's doing pottery right now in a minimum security prison, and MAGA doesn't care anymore. They stopped caring, conveniently. They can say the left is, they say the left are extremist terrorists in America. Stephen Miller, the leader of the White House, keeps saying that shit.
This was likely due to the big tech platforms prioritizing algorithmic feeds. That is, they were going to show you content that got more engagement. And to the average person,
they show you stuff to make you mad, which is what you share. You share the small accounts with no engagement. You give them engagement because they're baiting you. They're baiting all of you. It's called the rage economy, and Tim Pool loves the rage economy. He makes so much money. Tim Pool makes so much money driving us against each other.
Racism generated anger. Anger is the most likely to generate some content to be shared. It's the most likely to make someone share content.
And he'll say this right now knowing he does it too. That's the most disgusting hypocritical part here, is he knows he does it. He knows he does it.
And so what we instantly saw were websites that were posting articles, say, about politics, realize if they write about police brutality, racism, or some kind of social injustice, they will get substantially more clicks, shares, and in turn, money. There was a really good example. It was reported, Mike.com, for instance, originally started as a Ron Paul libertarian website. But as they began posting police brutality videos and made more money off it, the narrative...
By the way, Charlie Kirk has a website called Professor Watch. So Charlie Kirk used Professor Watch. I think it's called Professor Watch. It was a dossier website for professors where Charlie Kirk would put professors on there he didn't like. So he had this website, and essentially, if you fact-checked Charlie Kirk on Twitter, he put you on this website. You could search up by school, search it by professor, and you could submit a tip to them. You could submit a tip to them, and their job is to harass you. Charlie Kirk ran this, Mr. Free Speech. He was making targeted harassment platforms. He made this for school boards around America too. Targeted harassment. This is not pro-free speech. This is pro-intimidation. And this was happening the past 10 years. No one talked about it because the left sucks at propaganda and messaging. And mainly messaging, because propaganda has a negative connotation, but you know what I mean. The left cannot carry a message, and it sucks. Please drop a like, comment, subscribe. I'll take calls if you want. I need more likes. I have 43 likes. If I get more than 60 likes, I'll take phone calls. I have 43 likes anymore. I'll turn on the phone line. Donate to Jola Politics and Cash App, PayPal, or Venmo, please. Really appreciate it. I need your help to keep the show running. Jola Politics on Venmo or Cash App, okay? Or donate through Coffee for text-to-speech. I was saying to donate. I think my mic was muted. You can call in. I turned the phone lines on. I'm gonna go get water quick. I almost just fell on my ass. I'm not gonna lie.
Call from.
Hello.
Hello.
Howdy.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Good. I've been enjoying your content.
Nice. Yeah. What's up?
Are you wanting the debate?
We can talk about whatever.
How do you feel about the shooter killing Charlie Kirk?
I think that political violence like that is an attack on humanity, and should never take place.
I agree with that. I think it probably was the most unnecessary political violence I've seen in a while, other than Trump's attention.
What about the Democrats in Minnesota that got assassinated?
I have not paid much attention to that.
Yeah, it's convenient because right now right-wingers think that they are, the little special cookies, and they don't look at any violence against the left whatsoever. So it makes it hard to have these conversations if you don't know anything about like what's happening,
Yeah, I'm a Republican, so I don't pay attention to any side of the left. I'm kind of just pay attention to most what happens to our side.
How can you be informed on anything then? How can you believe in a political ideology if you don't know the opposing beliefs at all?
Charlie Kirk, he was one of my biggest inspirations. And
So Charlie Kirk taught you to not understand the other side?
No. What?
You said you don't pay attention to the left at all. So how can you know anything they actually believe if you never pay attention to them? I pay attention to the right a lot.
Yeah, don't worry about the left. Left's not as important.
You should know, you know what I'm saying though, right? Like you should be informed about the other side, or your beliefs are probably going to be a little bit weaker if you don't know what the arguments actually are.
Yeah, I understand that. It's what do you think compared to the left and right? What do you think is the thing that's causing the most violence?
I think Trump refusing to condemn political violence in any form is a direct call to violence. I think he called for violence for January 6th when he said stand back and stand by to the Proud Boys and white supremacists. He's been pro-political violence. He pardoned January 6 rioters who tased cops and beat cops with their own riot shields and American flagpoles. So I'd say that Trump's rhetoric is going to be causing a lot of what you put into the world is what you're going to get out much of the time. And if you have someone who refuses to condemn violence, you're going to get more violence all over the board. But most violence is on the right wing in total with every data set. But there still is left-wing violence for sure.
So you're talking about violence, right? Why?
About what?
You're talking about violence. Me personally, I get the whole why would he bomb Iran when they didn't really do much other than send threats?
We bombed another boat in Venezuela, or outside of Venezuela too, with 3 random people in it. We claimed their cartel members coming to America. They were right outside of Venezuela lines. Not too good. Mr. Anti-War President Trump.
Yeah. It's I guess I'm not understanding the whole politics thing, I guess. So I pay attention to it, but I don't pay attention to it.
Yeah, that's what usually, politics sucks. Do you have anything you want to talk about directly? Any contentious points?
Let's see. Trying to think of a good one. Do you?
No, I usually have people bringing me arguments. So I mean, if you want to call back later on, if you think of something, that'd be good.
All right, that sounds good.
All right, no, I appreciate the call.
Yep.
All right, peace. No one is donating to me. What the hell?
Your call has been forwarded to
Whoa,
voice.
whoa, 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 whoa. Bubba, bubba. Bubblegum. I never thought that I... Hi, this is Joel Politics.
Oh,
Howdy.
what's going on?
Nothing much, how are you?
Just laying down.
Nice.
This is real?
Yep, you're live.
So what do you want to talk about?
You tell me.
Okay. Well, where do I start? I guess maybe there's so much hate and division. I would love to know what the left plans to fix things. Like, who's the solution person? Name one person in your party. Is it you? Like, who is gonna fix this? Because there's so many people I believe I could name, like Charlie, even before this. And I know a lot of people are gonna say his name now, but someone willing on the opposite party willing to debate. Where do you
It's
start?
really difficult because there are people debating, but Charlie Kirk was really good at making propaganda videos, where he edits out people who make good arguments and only show bad ones, where he owns college kids. So like, the left doesn't do content like that that is just like anger bait as much. So it's hard to say who the media person is going to be on the left. I mean, there's some people that debate in general, but what Charlie Kirk does is more of a circus, or what he did throughout his life. Was
I
more
mean,
of a
I see
circus
how
and more of a
Gavin
performance.
Newsom and people are trying to get more. Don Lemon, people are trying to. I try to follow. Like most people, I see where the left is trying to get more, and I'm trying to hear more of both sides and reading the Bible. But I'm trying to understand more, not only the policies but the mind of behind, because I don't want, I don't have those feelings that other people might, etc. But I don't, hate on them for that. But it's more like the rhetoric, and when I watch it, it's mainly it. And I understand how the algorithms and everything work, but when I go out and every day, and it's hard for everybody. So I'm just trying to find more common ground, like Charlie would have, I guess.
So Charlie Kirk never found common ground with anybody. He set people up in conversations to make him look good. So it's not easy to compare it. Like Charlie Kirk made really bad,
If he
dumb
did,
arguments
then
about
maybe
things.
now more people are trying to.
Well, I mean, there's no real conversation when you talk to someone in a highly edited video in front of a huge crowd, and it's a random college kid. Like, he got destroyed in Cambridge with prepared debaters. He looked terrible in that video. The one time he actually went against prepared, younger people, he didn't look that good. I mean, his arguments about black pilots being shitty at flying because they're black and because they can't deserve it because they're DEI hires. He had no arguments about that. It was just kind of racist at that point. He made a lot of arguments that were just kind of racist. Like, he blamed the Texas floods on a random black
I
fire
think you're
chief that was an
talking
hour
about
away.
maybe that was when the plane crashes and everything was happening, but no one.
No, that was
seems to
before
remember
that.
But when all the cows were dying from planes crashing into farms and stuff, what was that all about? What about all the other things?
When were all the cows dying? I don't know about the cows dying. And what's that got to do with Charlie Kirk not liking black pilots?
Well, it's mainly like DEI hires, I think, is what he was referring to, and it might be misconstrued in short videos where most people. I mean, the
I saw the
data
whole
shows
video.
that most people. I know, but I encourage you then to look into where an insane number of airplanes crashing when Joe Biden was president into, places where Bill Gates doesn't want,
What, Bill Gates
people
now?
to live.
What?
Well,
How do we get to Bill Gates?
Well, if we go to DEI, we go to policies, and we go to the Democrats, and they want
Democrats,
these
DEI, policies, Bill Gates, cows, planes crashing into cows. Okay.
I mean, you're referring to when Charlie was referring to the people who control air traffic controllers that are DEI hired.
No, that was
correct?
no. He said he goes into a plane, he sees a black pilot, and he gets scared because the black pilot can't be qualified because he's DEI hire, and there's no evidence anywhere of that.
I
at
believe
all.
if you watch that video, there's way more to that.
I saw the video. He just claimed that black pilots are pilots. They get an easy pass through their certification because they're black, and they need more black pilots because they're black. Blackity black. So therefore, they can't be there on purpose because they stole a white man's job. I mean, he said that multiple times. But
so many times he reached out to black individuals. I know so many black people.
You could,
I've never had a
say
racist
terrible things.
I don't know. I've been to so many college and professional sports games where there's black people sitting right next to me. I mean, I've had so many black people. I've never known of.
Wait, you were able to sit next to a black person? I'm so proud of you.
No, millions of people do every day.
I'm so proud of you for sitting next to a black person. Holy shit.
So
dude.
where is the racism? Where is the racism besides what the people are promoting, like on this platform?
Because Charlie Kirk said if you get into a plane, you cannot trust any black person in a qualified position anywhere, including planes, because they get DEI bonuses and they get to advance through positions when they don't deserve it, when white people get their jobs stolen from them and there is no evidence. It's just a lie to be racist at that point. But the idea that they would let black people fly planes that are not qualified because they want to have black people fly planes for George Floyd and DEI is crazy as shit. It's never going to happen anywhere. Why would a company ever risk that?
If that is your
but also,
argument, I encourage
Charlie
you to
Kirk
do
just
more
made that
research
up.
and just to really have your
Why
data,
did Charlie
really
say?
hardcore facts, because
Wait, what
multiple
hardcore
people are
facts did
going
Charlie
to
Kirk have?
now.
What hardcore facts did Charlie Kirk have when he said that?
No, people are going to do the research now, and they're going to prove you
What
wrong.
facts? No. Okay, you are defending Charlie Kirk.
just
Do you know?
want you-
Name one fact. Name one fact he used to back up that argument that black people were
All
flying
I have
planes that
to
are not
know
qualified.
is, like, if something is good or bad, okay? If something's good, okay, probably Charlie said it or did it. Like, that's the fact. And that's what everybody knows. Okay. That's why this is so real.
True. You're a good troll caller. I do appreciate it.
Thank
Yeah, a good troll. Wait, do you watch my channel a lot?
My first one. Maybe like a President Medal of Freedom like Charlie got.
No, like, do you watch my channel?
Or give it to George Soros. I mean, I've watched it because I actually, like you were saying earlier, I do listen to the opposition because
Wait, are you a troll? Wait, are you making a joke?
Do research.
Are you a conservative?
No, yes. I'm Bible Belt.
Wait, are you? Have you been lying this whole time?
Belt off my way.
I'm actually confused. Have you been lying this whole time and you're not a Charlie Kirk fan, or are you a Charlie Kirk fan?
No, I am.
So, like, can you name one argument Charlie Kirk made in favor that supports his argument that DEI blacks are taking all the jobs from the whites?
Can you
Like,
justify one Democrat saying that it's okay
What?
that he got?
I asked you a pretty direct question, man. Do you know like one argument he made? What's one fact he went off of?
Yeah, I mean, trans people. There's only two genders. What is a woman?
What a troll! It is impressive. You're hanging on to it.
I mean, I can go on and on and on and on.
You could go on and on and on. I actually, this
Just
is a really
like you
good troll
guys.
call because I don't know if you're serious or not. I'm still confused. I don't know if I'll ever know.
I guess we could debate all night.
I guess we can. All right, appreciate the call. Have a good night, man. Okay. I have no idea if that person was real or not. I really don't know. I'm leaning towards no. He could be real and just doing irony because he doesn't know what he's talking about. I really don't know. But yeah, make sure you drop a like and follow my page. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm genuinely a little bit like I don't He's got to be fake. He's got to be a fake caller. That can't be a real person. There's no way. George Soros.
Hello?
Hello, this is the George Soros Education Department speaking.
Oh wow! All right, wow. That's good to hear. I've been waiting for a call back from you guys. I've been trying to get in for so long to George Soros University.
Thank you. Yeah, GSU.
Wait, who is this? Is this? Oh,
The show
yeah.
about
Wait.
politics.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought. I've been trying to call in since life left the sea. At this point, I think you called me, but my phone was dead.
Maybe.
Yeah. So, wait. Wait. So, what's the prompt here? Does Trump want a civil war?
Yeah, I think that people like Trump, he wins when we're divided, and he wants to divide us, and the powerful love when we're in tribes and we tear each other apart because they can profit and collect power for themselves.
Okay, this might be a more boring call than I actually anticipated, because that's pretty reasonable. I don't necessarily disagree with that. I think this is I don't know how much you do that. I'll be fair. I'm not actually that familiar with your content, but I think that I think people. So would you agree with the comparison, the Trump Hitler comparison? Do you think that Trump is similar to Hitler in terms of
Trump's
an American context?
Trump is a fully authoritarian guy. So like it's gonna cross over with a lot of different dictators. Like Stalin, he has like a Stalinist cult. He believes in like Maoist policies when it comes to looking at currency and material as not mattering for the sake of the nation. When he said that the economy doesn't matter, kids can, they can have less presents for Christmas. He wants to nationalize companies and take state ownership, kind of like a Mussolini type of nationalism and fascism. He wants to collect power like the Enabling Act with Nazi Germany. So like he wants a capitalist authoritarian state, like a state command China type economy with like a Putin style oligarchy. So I mean, it's an authoritarian, so he's going to borrow a lot from different people.
Okay, all right. That's fair. I see. I see. Here's I think the mistake that people make that bugs me is that I don't think I think the Hitler comparison is bad because I don't think Trump gives enough of a fuck about the Jews to kill them. Just not that he would do that, but just like for the comparison. I think Trump. I think you're much better off comparing him if you want for just the sake of that. Obviously Hitler is more that gets the headlines, but I think he's the American Gaddafi. That's who Trump is. He wants. You ever hear this? There's a story about Gaddafi, where this dude. This is in like 2009. One of his sons got arrested in Switzerland or something like that, and then Gaddafi goes up and to the EU and he tells that he presents this plan to partition Switzerland because he's pissed that his son's arrested there. That's like something. I feel like that's something that Trump would do. I feel like that's it. That's him. And Gaddafi was a fucking moron. This guy believed in all sorts of tribal science, and he believed in all sorts of whatever shit. He came from kind of the backwater of Libya, and he wasn't really a very sophisticated dude. And that's kind of how I view Trump. And,
I mean, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them, man. I mean,
this motherfucker believes that Trump believes. He literally believes that your body is like a battery. So like when you exercise, you're actually wasting your energy, and you're actually bringing yourself closer to death because your body.
Yes, don't exercise.
Yeah.
The propaganda for the military is going to be like Pinochet a little bit. It's going to be a lot of mixes. A lot of the way they praise him on Fox News is like North Korea. So like it's going to be a good combination. But the big thing is his authoritarian power grabs, and he could kill any minority group or attack them or whatever. He chose immigrants because Americans don't like immigrants anymore, or at least the right wing doesn't. Americans do, but the right wing doesn't. But yeah, he just chose that group in America. He could have chose any group to scapegoat. Whatever he can do to get power. He doesn't give a shit about gay people or trans people. He really likes a lot of trans people in private. So like, it is what it is. I appreciate the call, man.
Are you hanging up on me? All right, what's your area code? Where are you from? I don't know. 717.
It's a fake phone number, but I'm Northeast.
Oh, all right. I don't want to. I'm sure you don't reveal where you are or whatever.
I don't use my real phone number anyway.
Yeah. All right.
And also, you can have one phone number.
I'm not that contentious. I'm not really a real Trump supporter, so
Yeah, no, but people have to realize too. I know people who live in like Seattle who have an area code from Miami, so like you can move places too and keep your old phone
Yeah,
number.
yeah, all right, yeah.
That's what you got to do.
All right, well, it was good talking to you. You have some more interesting, contentious debates. I'll see you later.
See ya. Good. Peace. Have a good night. What a loser. Thank you for $5, Sri. Hi, what's up, caller?
Hello.
This
I
is
was
Drolo
watching
Politics. Yep.
your stream earlier. I actually forgot what I wanted to talk about. Someone was comparing Trump to Hitler. I wouldn't necessarily say he's like the new Hitler or anything. I just think that the world is really messed up right now.
True. I agree. It is messed up. Very messed up.
And I don't know what we can do about it because, like, most people are broke, and then the people that aren't broke are trying to hold on to their money, and they don't really want to help the broke people. So, like, I don't really know how anything's gonna get better.
People need to want it to get better. Right now, they love fighting each other. The social media algorithms get us to fight each other. They want us in tribes. They want us to separate as human beings and stop caring about humans. Fox News called for homeless people to be killed and euthanized on the spot just this week. And political violence is becoming normal in America, and the president will not say it's bad. He refuses to condemn political violence. So until people in America decide to come together and realize that we cannot survive apart from each other, which I hope happens eventually. I don't know if it's going to take an economic crash. I don't know if shit it might need to get really bad before it gets better. I don't really know. That's where I'm leaning, which is not fun. We might need an economic crash for people to really fight for something again. But right now it's all just petty culture war topics, and there's people trying to do some really bad things in America. So I think it's okay to see that and realize what we're dealing with, and try to have leadership and have community as much as possible to try and get through it.
Well, for me, like, so I'm a femcel. Do you know what that is?
Is that the incel, but you're femme?
Yeah, so I'm a female incel.
Yeah.
And I was talking to my mom about this because I'm 32 and I've never had a boyfriend. And my mom was telling me that it's because of the world that we live in. Like, she said back in her day that even if a woman was not so attractive or if she was overweight, like, there would still be a guy that would want to, like, date her. But now, like, I'm just gonna be honest, I'm ugly and I'm fat and I am alone, and I think, like, the world is so messed up that, like, a woman that is, like, nice and kind cannot find anyone because, like, she's not good looking, and, like, this is the world we live in where people judge people based on their personality, but they don't do that. It's not going to get better. It's not going to get better, I think, and I don't know.
The internet is poison. We need to get back outside someday and never say the word femcel again. Think of something cooler.
I haven't went outside in like 2 months.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, go see the sun. Soak up some sun. That's what I recommend. Listen to the birds chirp and talk to them, and you could be a bird lady in the park. Hey, I appreciate the call. I hope things look up for you.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
All right, thank you. Troll. Probably a troll. I don't know. Who knows? Femcel. That's one word that you don't want to hear ever. Yeah, talk to birds. Go connect with nature, dude. Just like God intended. Do you think Jesus didn't talk to the birds? He definitely did. Oh, man. True. I'm getting pooped. I'm getting pooped already. How long have I been doing this? 45 minutes? I'm getting pooped already. I don't know how to react to anything, dude.
All right, let's talk about the motive. What was the motive of Charlie Kirk's shooter? There are widespread speculations now, endless speculations, in fact. But the most important thing about the motive is that whatever the motive was, being raised in this wildly pro-gun, totally MAGA family didn't prevent the shooter from ending up a shooter. And
that is one big thing I saw people say, and the Utah governor said something similar, like, "Oh no, one of us did it. It's not trans." I know they want to say the trans ideology, but he's a perfect white boy in a white Christian family with white siblings, and they had white gun fun. And they're like, "How did this happen to one of us?" Which is interesting to see them have that reaction. They went from, "Oh, we got to get this person," to they then said, "Oh, well, we got to pray for this person." So when it was not a straight white guy, well, I guess supposedly straight white guy, white boy, whatever, all right, from a white Christian family. Before that, they said, "Oh, we got to get him." But now we know that they say, "Oh, well, now we got to pray. We got to have humility."
So critical to understand. You know, there is rampant speculation. The shooter is trans. That was the motivation. The shooter's not trans. The shooter has a trans partner. And that was the motivation. We're going to follow up on that in a moment. But the point,
well, they said the bullets were trans, and then the bullets weren't trans, but they were trans, and then they were not trans, but their partner was trans. So everyone's trans apparently. You know.
The point here is clearly the shooter hated Charlie Kirk. That we know. That we can say for sure. But in terms of the theories that are being spouted here,
really, David,
they are wild and completely without evidence. One, of course, is based on the idea that the shooter is a groyper. Now, if a groyper isn't a term you've heard before, groypers are like more aligned with somebody like Nick Fuentes. They're clearly on the right, but they're sort of the belief that Trump and Kirk are in some...
Now, here's the big truth bomb. Okay, actually, no, something to consider. It could be someone who is left-wing, who is friends with groypers, or they have a mixture of groyper and left-wing beliefs, and they're an anti-establishment person, and they're pro-populist. They don't need to be Democrat or Republican. People like this usually are not. They usually have very complicated, directionless beliefs that are all over the place. So it could be someone who's far-right or far-left, or a combination of far-right and far-left, like horseshoe theory type stuff. They could be someone who was in the closet and they had a trans girlfriend or boyfriend or gay partner or straight partner or whatever, or roommate, or what. It could be anything. It could be a gamer. You know, a gamer is a whole different thing. They use memes on the shell casings. Memes. If you kill someone and use memes, you are not mentally well. You are not mentally okay. You are not okay in the head. All right? That's the main point here. They are not okay in the head. They use memes from video games and online memes. These memes are popular in both online far left and far right communities. The online far right communities are much bigger that use these, but it could be, you know, ingrained with some far left. Because again, the thing they unite on is hating the current establishment. They hate Democrats and Republicans equally in many cases. That's how that Thomas Kirk's guy was with Trump, the attempted assassin of Trump. But this is really complicated to someone who, number one, is not honest, or number two, they are not online enough to know these different terms and what it might entail. But it could be such a interesting mosaic of crazy beliefs that make these people up, and that causes them to act in the way they do.
Sense traitors to the right wing. You could say they are even to the right of Trump and Kirk. We don't know that that is the case at all. And so I think we should be careful about saying that that's what's going on. Another hypothesis has been, well, it's mental illness. You know, we always hear that. And to some degree, I would argue, anybody who's willing to carry out such an attack on some level is mentally ill.
True.
But that can often be a distraction. The battle that is happening in the propaganda space and on social media is that those on the left want to argue that this was a right-wing shooting. Those on the right want to argue that this was a left-wing shooting. They want to categorize it. They want to be able to check the box under the category that is most convenient to them. But every single one of these analyses that I've heard, and actually even calling it an analysis is a little bit generous, something that's been missing from this is that Trump and MAGA and Republicans in their various forms have been telling us for years that certain traits are good and godly, and they are the best environment for a kid to be brought up in. They tell us if you grow up in a Christian household, that's the best thing for kids. It's the best.
Honestly, bro.
They tell us if you grow up in a Christian household, that's meant for years, that certain traits are good and godly in various forms. Something that's been missing from this, and actually even calling it an analysis is a little bit generous. Something that's been missing from this is that Trump and MAGA and Republicans in their various forms have been telling us for years that certain traits are good and godly, and they are the best environment for...
I know they were so mad when it turned out to be a white guy. When it turned out to be a white guy that did it, a bunch of their propaganda went out the window. They are happy to find out their partner might be LGBT.
For a kid to be brought up in. They tell us if you grow up in a Christian household, that's the best thing for kids. It's the best. But in this case, growing up in this Christian household, religious family, did not inoculate Tyler Robinson from becoming a shooter and going out and murdering someone. They tell us that growing up around guns protects people. It's better for the people that have the guns. It's better for other people in society. Growing up around guns is a good thing. And in this case, growing up in a gun nut family led to Robinson knowing how to use a rifle to kill someone from 200 feet away.
And also using a gun as a conflict resolution as well, knowing violence as the #1 protector of freedom.
Certainly in terms of the specifics, and even just in terms of the environment, the gun culture didn't keep society safer. And
I think gun culture in America is probably more interesting than just guns in America. The gun culture, that we don't care about things like organizing and talking to each other, that they believe we don't need laws and institutions and systems. We need everyone to have a gun and everyone's going to be safe.
In fact, had he not grown up in such a family, he probably wouldn't have had the skill to hit Charlie Kirk from 200 feet away.
I don't know about that as much. I just think being in proximity of it makes your brain more geared in that direction.
Or whatever distance it was. And you can keep going with this. They tell us that growing up in a two-parent household prevents...
Like, you know how many people I know that have guns and they just like threaten to shoot people in arguments randomly because they know that guns are nearby? It's just kind of crazy how they go to that so often.
Radicalization. And it keeps kids out of trouble. And the problem is single parents. Yet Tyler Robinson grew up in the much lauded two-parent household. It wasn't two dads or two moms, which they tell us is worse. It was a mom and a dad. And just like that, we saw that that didn't prevent him from becoming a shooter either. And so oftentimes the right loves to pigeonhole the problem of...
Someone said his trans boyfriend took him from God. When Trump went to Epstein's Island, what happened there, dude?
Gun violence as an issue of urban young men. That's code for black. Usually when they say urban men, they're talking about black men. But Tyler Robinson is just a rural white guy, or maybe it's suburban white guy. His father was in law enforcement. We're told there is no better environment for a kid to grow up in than with a family in law enforcement. It keeps you on the straight and narrow and prevents you from becoming a criminal. Well, it didn't work. Despite growing up the son of a cop, he ended up an alleged killer. And so that's the real hypocrisy here. Every so-called safeguard that the right insists is going to keep kids on the right path, Christian upbringing, two parents, law enforcement in the family, respect for guns, all of that stuff was present in Tyler Robinson's life, and none of it mattered. For MAGA, Tyler Robinson's upbringing was really like their Camelot. Red estate in the country, grandma says everyone was MAGA, and so if these are the values that Republicans claim are the antidote to violence, to a life of crime, how do they...
On the day Charlie Kirk was killed, on that day alone, a right-wing white supremacist neo-Nazi guy shot up a school in Colorado. So on that day alone, more people got shot as a result of right-wing extremism. But I'm not blaming all right-wingers. I'm not blaming everyone. I'm blaming the internet and the radicalization on there with radical extremist groups, which is probably what happened to the shooter of Charlie Kirk as well. But they keep saying, oh, the left wing does all the violence in America. That's not true at all. The data all says right-wing violence. I mean, that happens with 75% of cases. I think like 10% is left-wing or 15% is left-wing, and the remaining 10% is random ideologies and just people who do nihilistic terrorism, which this might be nihilistic terrorism. We don't really know. They usually have a combination of beliefs. If they're a shooter, it can be some far right, far left. It could be anti-establishment in general. It doesn't matter what the beliefs are. It could be pretty much everything. We've had multiple neo-Nazi shooters. That like Brandon Herrera guy, the gun YouTuber that's currently calling for a civil war in America. Thank you, TikTok Live, for telling me that I'm not online. That's awesome. Keep on making noises that interrupt my My amazing speech. That gun YouTuber guy, the person who shot up the school in Minnesota, the trans shooter, supposedly, that person was a huge right-winger. Now they want to bring up that they're trans, not the right-wing neo-Nazi part, but like, it still counts.
They explain that their model household produced the shooter. Trump even acknowledged this. How could this have happened given the right-wing upbringing? Check this out.
He's become radicalized. So many things have been learned about him so quickly. He's become totally radicalized and crazy, and it must have been traumatic because the parents are conservative people, supposed to be very totally radicalized and crazy, and it must have been traumatic because the parents are conservative people, supposed to be very nice people, living in Utah, and the father turns into son. Boy, that's a tough deal. Actually,
I suck at this. I suck at
Trump
making
even
TikToks.
acknowledged this. How could this have happened given the right-wing upbringing? Check this out.
He's become radicalized. So many things have been learned about him so quickly. He's become totally radicalized and crazy, and it must have been traumatic because the parents are conservative people, supposed to be very nice people, living in Utah, and the father turns into son. Boy, that's a tough deal.
He was supposed to be a good white boy, a good white Christian man from Utah, dude. How did this happen? It had to be the trans. It had to be the trans ideology, dude. It had to be.
I actually asked somebody in the FBI, how often does that happen where knowing even the guilt that a father will turn in or parents will turn into son? And he said, almost never.
So this really exposes what's been true all along. These talking points aren't really solutions. These are shields to avoid addressing the real issue.
Yeah, I mean, they brought up the trans bullets. That was fake. The shooter being trans, that was fake. There were like 10 trans people who were supposedly the shooter. Then they said the shooter's partner is trans, so they've been trying to blame it on trans people no matter what. They don't really
Only
care.
variable that shows up every single time is access to guns. The motives may differ, could be a personal grievance, could be ideology, could be mental health, but the common denominator is that someone angry had the tools and the training to kill somebody else. And if Robin...
I don't know. I still don't know. Political violence can be explosives. It can be guns. The gun he used was a bolt-action rifle, like a hunting rifle. I'm pretty sure that is pretty easy to get. Even in states with super strict gun laws, you can get that pretty much anywhere. The ammunition was not super rare. There's no bump stock involved. There's no assault weapons involved. There's no all this kind of stuff involved. I just think the political violence is probably more interesting. Again, January 6th was not used. It was not using guns. They did not do that by using guns. It was political violence and mob. It was mob violence with explosives and spray and riot shields and American flag poles and you know, lead pipes. It's still an issue in America for sure with gun violence, but with this scenario, you can talk about gun violence for sure, especially with the Colorado school shooting, with internet radicalization and gun violence and gun culture in America, a culture of going to violence to resolve everything. But I don't know if gun laws are the thing to focus on here, guys. I just don't know.
hadn't grown up around firearms, it's unlikely he would have had the skill.
When Trump tries using the military to seize ballots for the election, I mean...
to hit someone from 200 feet away. And yet, instead of confronting reality, both sides rush into the mode of speculation. Can we call this a left-wing attack? Can we call it a right-wing attack? And the battle over the narrative is a distraction. The obsession with labels misses the deeper sickness here, which is that in America, if you have a grievance, you can turn it into violence because the weapons are there. And culturally, you know, we talk about this when we talk about, oh, in Switzerland, they have so many guns. Culturally, even if you don't believe it, even if many people don't believe it, the idea of guns as a way to solve interpersonal problems is too common. So it's not about, oh, it's an urban issue. It's not about single parents. It's not about a godless household. This was a rural or suburban white kid from exactly the type of family that Republicans glorify. And still, he became a killer, allegedly. So the right is trying to spin this into a culture war sort of talking point situation. But the reality is that their perfect bubble in which the kid was raised isn't safe. So the better question isn't really what was his motive, it's why does this country make it so damn easy for any grievance, any ideology, any angry young man to become a shooter, and they never want to talk about that. Now, just one other note. There's the idea that college radicalized him. We're going to talk about that later.
Yeah, he was in college for one semester. One semester in college, brother.
All right, y'all, we have to talk about right-wing cancel culture in the wake of Charlie Kirk being shot, because this is just seriously unhinged. I mean, I've never seen anything this extreme in terms of canceling, censoring, trying to ruin somebody's life. Let me walk you through it here. So you have these people who put together this database of what they call Charlie's murderers. Okay, now right off the bat, we're in legal trouble here because these are not Charlie's murderers. These are people who may have, it ranges from people like mocking Charlie Kirk after he died to people saying, it's horrible he got shot and I condemn it, but I disagree with him and here's why, to people just like literally directly quoting him, using his own words and saying, here's what he said. And so they're just calling them Charlie's murderers and putting them on this massive doxing website. Now they would claim, oh, it's not doxing because all the information is already publicly available. And I don't know, on a technicality, they may be correct or maybe not. But when you take all that information and put it together and put it on a list where you have, you know, whatever, names, phone numbers, addresses, and stuff like that, and clearly the intent here is ruin these people's lives, I think it does change the nature of what they're doing in the sense that clearly there's ethical issues here and moral issues here, but it goes deeper than that. In fact, there are definitely legal issues. So as you can see here, database to expose over 30,000 people celebrating Charlie Kirk's death with employer details is set for public release soon. Oh, so that's true too. They have employer details, which means...
Don't forget that, don't forget Charlie Kirk had Professor Watch List. I saw that months ago. I saw Professor Watch List months ago by TPUSA. Charlie Kirk made it with all the harassment profiles for professors. I said at the time when I first saw Professor Watch List that it was calling for political violence. But do people who are watching NFL who see Charlie Kirk's picture and they say he's an American hero, do they know that he made a watch list to harass college professors randomly for fun? Do they know that? I doubt they know that.
Means they're saying like, hey, call the employer and tell them to fucking fire this person for saying stuff we don't like. Free speech, anyone? No, not to these people. They don't give a fuck about that. So here's what the website says.
Guys, I'm losing stamina. I gotta go to bed. I'm losing stamina. I've been here for 1 hour.
And I should point out, the number's way higher than 30,000 now. I believe the number was over like 50,000, maybe even way more than that. So it says, expose Charlie's murders. Charlie Kirk was murdered as an employee or a student of yours supporting political violence online. Look them up on this website. Send information on anyone celebrating Charlie's death. And then they have a Twitter account for Charlie Kirk 1. This website will soon be converted into a searchable database of over 30,000 submissions, filterable by general location and job industry. This is a permanent and continuously updating archive of radical activists calling for violence. This is the largest firing operation in history. They are bragging about a firing operation. So if you say anything other than, you know, fawning love and adoration and praise for Charlie Kirk after he's been killed, if you disagree with him even a little bit, they want to get you fired. They want to force you to live in poverty. They want to ruin your life. That's what they want to do. All right, well, guess what? Update just came in. Okay, first let me show you this. Evan says, this website is almost certainly criminal defamation, and any of the people on it have an easy lawsuit. Expose Charlie's murder. Charlie Kirk was murdered as an employee, so it says all the things that we already laid out for you. Boom, we just got this update. They changed the domain and took everyone off the site. So it used to be like charliesmurderers.com. Then they had to change it to charliekirkdata.org. Charlie Kirk Data Foundation. Now it says, this is not a doxing website. We lawfully collected publicly available data to analyze the prominence of support for political violence in the interests of public education. We do not publish data which identifies individuals. Our thoughts and prayers are with Charlie Kirk's families. So what this means is defamation lawyers were ready to have a fucking field day, bro. A field day. You put like over 50,000 people and all of their personal information on a website and encourage people to harass them and threaten them and try to get them fired. Well, guess what? Number one, these aren't public profile people. So based on that alone, the bar is lower for like defamation or libel or slander. That's point number one. Point number two, you're calling them Charlie's murderers. That is clear defamation because they're not murderers. They may be somebody who said something impolite after the death of somebody that they didn't like, but that's perfectly legal. Of course that's legal. So holy cow. But guys, when I tell you how insane this has been, here, I'll show you. I'll give you a bunch of examples. Libs of TikTok says, a teacher at Ellsworth Community School District in Wisconsin, quote, he spewed hate. You can't be upset that he died. This teacher, Krista Lisecki, she said the following about Charlie after he died. He said deaths are worth it for the Second Amendment. He did say that. He spewed hate. Disagree with his comment and essentially everything he stood for. But if you like what he stood for, then you can't be upset that he died. He fulfilled his destiny. I wasn't saying anything important. In other words, when he says, hey, deaths are worth it to preserve the Second Amendment, and then he dies because of guns, that's the point she's making, right? Very straightforward point. So Libs of TikTok calls her out. Guess what? Derek Van Orden comes out and says, I represent Ellsworth in Congress. It is a beautiful town full of wonderful people, except this one. I will be working to remove all federal funding, including grants and community-directed projects for the entire city of Ellsworth, unless this is rectified immediately. So let me screw over an entire town of people because all federal funding
Wait, he said deaths are worth it for the Second Amendment. He spewed hate. I disagree with this. If you liked what he stood for, you cannot be. Oh wait. He said deaths are worth it for the Second Amendment. He spewed hate. I disagree with his comment and essentially everything he stood for. But if you liked what he stood for, then you cannot be upset that he died. He fulfilled his destiny. Meaning he died for his beliefs that we need to have guns in America. That's her post. And this congressman, American U.S. congressman, says, I represent Ellsworth in Congress. It's a beautiful town with wonderful people. Except this one. They're all wonderful except her. Wonderful. Nice.
Including grants and community-directed projects for the entire city of Ellsworth, unless this is rectified immediately. So let me screw over an entire town of people because I don't like what one person in the town said. That's insane, bro. That's insane. Let me take all the grants, all the federal funding away because one person said one thing I don't agree with, which, by the way, is not at all a criminal thing. By the way, you scroll down here a little bit, and what do you find? Derek Van Orden, the same guy who's outraged that somebody dared disagree with Charlie Kirk after he died. He responded to a tweet that said 17 million people just lost healthcare, 18 million kids just lost school meals, 3 million Americans just lost food assistance. He responded to that with, yes! Celebrating that 17 million people got kicked off healthcare. Here's a different tweet of his. The suppression of protected religious free speech by leftists must be stopped. So leftists being anti-free speech is disgusting and grotesque. But right-wingers being anti-free speech is based and cool and Chad. Oh my God, I hate these people so much. Bro, we are just getting started. An Arizona sports outlet, Phoenix Sports, has fired lead Phoenix Suns reporter Gerald Bourget after he questioned why outrage over right-wing activist Charlie Kirk's killing was louder than outrage over school shootings, mass deportations, or the hundreds of videos of horrific murders in Gaza, which Charlie Kirk cheered on.
They fired him over this? I've never seen... The left-wing cancel culture I've seen is like actual racial slurs that people got fired over, mostly. Or like celebrating George Floyd dying. Like, this is insane. Oh God, dude. It's exhausting. I gotta go to bed, guys. I gotta go to bed. I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave yet, but I'm tired. I'll be honest. I'm sorry. I gotta drive 3 hours tomorrow. I gotta drive tomorrow.
Phoenix, in a statement, said the network takes matters involving violence very seriously and parted ways with Bourget to keep its community a safe place. Oh my God. Gerald Bourget was not endorsing violence, but was urging readers to apply the same moral standard to all killings. He wrote, quote, too many of you are more concerned with being polite and appearing to be good people rather than showing some damn backbone and standing on principle to condemn hate. The network did not explain how his comments made Phoenix less safe. Bourget's case joins a wave of recent firings and suspensions, including an MSNBC analyst, a FEMA employee, and a Carolina Panthers staffer over commentary on Charlie Kirk's death. So, just, you know, somebody saying, all right, you want to be outraged about Charlie Kirk's death? Fine. But what about all those babies that are being blown up in Gaza that you haven't said shit about? What's up with that, bro? And they go, oh, we must fire you. This was endless. It's still going on right now. So this is the expose Charlie's murderers people. Screenshot evidence of all those celebrating Charlie Kirk's murder. Have it ready for submission. Collect everything. So as Nathan J. Robinson points out, notably, many of the entries on the Charlie Kirk's murderers database are people saying things like, I don't think he should have been shot, but he wasn't a good person, and we should give equal attention to other victims. For that, they're trying to get you fired. So here's one of the comments that's on the website that they're trying to dox this person, get them fired, and ruin their life for. I've tried to hold my tongue, but I genuinely do not know how...
If losing your livelihood and having your house burned down is a consequence of your speech, then you is following the script that we all know by heart. A random person is caught on camera doing something rude or offensive.
I don't understand how Twitter works, bro. Twitter works so bad, dude. Twitter works so freaking bad. Why is it so bad? I can never find the video I want to find. It's so freaking bad, dude. Oh my God.
A fundamental difference between the cancel culture that the left engages in and the quote-unquote canceling that the right...
Okay, here's one of the biggest closeted gay Republicans. I'm sorry. Here's one of the... here's one of the biggest closeted... Here's one of the biggest gay... Twinkle, twinkle, little... Okay, here's... Matt Walsh. Oh, God. Matt Walsh, huge MAGA commentator, tells us why right-wing cancel culture is right, dude. Who is this? You called me 85 times? What the hell are you doing? Go to bed. You're still calling? Wait, didn't you call in earlier? I talked to you earlier. Well, who's calling me? My favorite bottom, Matt Walsh. Yes, I'm saying gay people cannot argue.
There is a fundamental difference between the cancel culture that the left engages in and the quote-unquote canceling that the right is doing in the
He's gonna say the left was wrong and I'm right. I guarantee you.
wake of Charlie's assassination and the left's celebration of it. The difference is that the left will cancel you for saying objectively true, good, and normal things. To the extent that the right cancels you, it'll be for saying objectively abhorrent, perverse, and sick things.
Oh, so like when they do it, it's bad, and when you do it, it's good. But when you do it, it's saying something like, oh, these dumb blacks keep rioting and crashing airplanes. And when they do it, wait a second. That's what you say. But then left-wingers just show you quotes. They quote Charlie Kirk. And you think canceling them for that is the same thing. Okay.
And this distinction matters. As I've said for years, the problem with the left's attack on speech is not just that they're attacking speech, but that they're attacking true and right speech.
That's okay, dude.
They want you to be fired for saying, for example, that men can't have babies. And
bro, these people have such big brains. Holy shit, bro. Holy shit. These closeted men, these closeted, very powerful men who had to grow out their beards because they looked so bad without one. Holy
women don't
shit.
have penises. The problem isn't simply that they're trying to get you fired for saying something. It's that they're trying to get you fired for saying the most basic and true things that it's possible for a person to say.
There comes to a point in this entire thing where you need to understand arguing with them directly is probably fake. Like, they have no principles. They're never going to change anything. You need to win the information games. You got to get your face in front of people and talk to people, because this right here is crazy. Literally just, oh, it's okay to use the full federal government, Fox News, and every outlet we have to fire people for quoting Charlie Kirk. It's okay to do that. But the left-wing cancel culture, I couldn't say the N-word publicly. Like, that was bad when I wasn't allowed to say the N-word. That was the real cancel culture. It's just like, how do you argue with someone who doesn't want to have a conversation? It's just so crazy.
The left's war on speech is not a war just on speech. It's a war on truth. They want to punish truth. And that will always be worse. Obviously, significantly worse. There is a difference in kind between the statement, men aren't women, and the statement, Charlie Kirk deserved to die because he was a fascist, Nazi, racist bigot. What's the difference? Well, the first statement is the most obviously true thing that anyone can ever say. The second statement is a demented, deranged, perverse, sick, evil, wicked, horrendous, outrageous lie.
No, he would also say George Floyd deserved to die, and he actually did say that on the same day, by the way. He wants Derek Chauvin to be pardoned and released instantly. He's happy George Floyd got murdered. I'm gonna go to bed. I'm tired. We have 50 viewers. You guys are awesome. The crappy part is the left gave people like this a platform to debate because they appealed to sensibilities like, oh, well, we need free and open discussion in America, and you need to allow us to talk in the battlefield of ideas, or, you know, the free market of ideas and whatever. Liberals bent over backwards to let these people who hate democracy participate in democracy. They gave forums to these people. They respected the First Amendment. There was some canceling by private individuals and social media by different communities on the internet, but there was never institutional canceling or targeting people over their politics, or pardoning January 6ers and rioters and people trying to overturn elections. That never happened. And they got a seat at the table, and they were able to. They lied their way to the top, and now we're screwed. That's one criticism of liberals and liberalism, is allowing people like this to gain power, but it's very exhausting, bro. It's very exhausting when you realize people do not care about the arguments themselves, and it's hard to reach where you need to reach. Blue wave coming if we actually have elections. I hope. We are the liberal cucks. Hear about us. Yeah. They're all actors. They're all gay actors. They're all gay failed actors. They're all failed gay actors. Like, all of them. Matt Walsh is a failed actor. Ben Shapiro is a failed actor. Tom McDonald is a failed rapper. They all became famous in these categories by being right-wing grifters. That's why they do it. I see people right now in different media, like different media genres and shit, becoming right-wing commentators, because all you got to do is agree with them. If you agree with them, you are now a voice on the right. Trump said today, you don't need to take it in, or wait. Trump said they don't have to take it anymore, and they don't want to take it. When they spit you, you hit. When they spit, you hit. Do whatever you want. You do whatever the hell you want. Attorney General Pam Bondi, who killed Charlie Kirk? Left-wing radicals, and they will be held accountable. They will be held accountable. Nice. When Republicans said they wanted a civil war, was the Civil War, like, getting people fired from their jobs? Was that the Civil War? I don't know. Alright guys, you have a good night. I don't have enough energy to keep the stream going at all. I don't have enough energy, so I apologize. It's a really short stream, an hour 20. I've been really busy driving around doing a bunch of stuff. I appreciate you guys watching again. I gotta drive to faraway places tomorrow for work, for actual work. And I gotta wake up pretty early, so I better get some rest. I've been trying to stream every night, but if I stream every night, then I need to take a break. A person commented yesterday. Oh God. What? I'm sorry, I'm seeing crazy stuff in my comments. For real. Oh my god. Why did that video gain traction, bro? Of all videos of all videos to gain traction at this time, why did that one gain traction? You guys have a good night. Go to bed. Join Discord. I appreciate you guys hanging out for a little bit. I'm gonna pass out. I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a good night, guys. See you tomorrow. Yeah, join the Discord. Read a different book tonight. Come back informed. No kings. Good night, dumbass. Thank you, dumbass. Dumbass is a term of endearment around here. It means you love someone if you call them a dumbass. If you hate someone, you would never call them a dumbass. They don't deserve it. But if you love them, you'll definitely call them a dumbass. Thank you, guys. Have a good night. Peace out. See you tomorrow. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Thank you, thank you, thank you.